Good morning. Today I'm reviewing the Quarry epilogue, and y'all are gonna watch. Let's go. Okay, so I say review because I technically have already played the epilogue, but really there's nothing to play. It just tells you who lives and who dies and why they lived or died, and then it rolls like 20 minutes worth of credits. So, what I decided to do is I'm going to go back through it and review the decisions I made. No, by reading the paths that it says that I took. And then I'm going to review who lived and who died. And that'll be my epilogue. Okay, so our first path. Nope. Let me look at the paths. Thank you. We've got 14 paths. We didn't get the last one, whatever that may be. Alright, Laura and Max. Laura tried to help Max after he was attacked in the storm shelter. Max was concerned about Laura's well-being in the prison. Laura was sympathetic to Max over his rejection letter. And Laura was supportive of Travis during their imprisonment. I don't see what that has to do with Laura and Max. Above the law. Laura lied to the cop about the accident on the road. Laura used the syringe on Travis during her and Max's escape. Laura shot Constance in the head. That was awesome. In a fit of rage, Laura killed Jedediah. She really did fuck up that whole family. Travis decided to work with Laura to find Silas. The only one who's still alive is Travis. Jacob removed the rotor arm from the minivan. The minivan failed to start, so the counselors couldn't leave Hackett's Quarry. Really, this whole thing is Jacob's fault. This whole situation could have been avoided if we could have left camp. So, it's Jacob's fault. The rotor arm fell out of Jacob's pocket when he was swimming in the lake, but Jacob was in his underwear, so why would it have been in his underwear? That part still weirds me out. Jacob chose not to dive into the lake in search of the lost rotor arm because it would have been pointless to search for a tiny little object that would have sunk to the bottom in the dark water. The rotor arm is lost forever. Down the rabbit hole. Abby chose to help Emma break into the cabin. Abby was able to explore inside the cabin. Abby put the forgotten toy in her bag. What was the point of that toy? Really, there was no point. Abby left her backpack in the lodge kitchen. Okay, would there have been a point if we chose a different path? Caitlin, Abby, and Nick were able to hide in the cabin without alerting the creature. Okay, so that was a good choice. Dylan was bitten by the creature when trying to hook up the feedback loop. What does that have to do with Abby breaking open the cabin? That doesn't make sense, but whatever. Playing with fire. Emma chose to take the fireworks with her. She set off the fireworks while joining the others at the fire pit. Emma found the firework left over from the party. That's that, okay. Watch your step. Dylan chose not to open the trapdoor. And that's that, which we found out led to the cellar. Abby came to Nick's aid when he was attacked in the woods. Nick appreciated Abby trying to help him during the attack. Abby shot Nick in the pool house and he fled out the window. Yeah, right after he turned into a fucking werewolf. Abby offered Laura her bracelet to fashion into a silver bullet. She didn't offer it to her, she took it off her wrist. Laura took it off Abby's wrist, if I remember correctly. If not, then that's on me. But I'm pretty sure Laura took Abby's bracelet off of her wrist. Finders keepers. Ryan struggled to navigate through the woods. Ryan heard a rustling in the bushes but didn't shoot, and Nick came stumbling out. We could have shot Nick and killed him sooner, is what you're telling me. Distraction. Jacob didn't distract the hunter because Bobby was trying to help us. Hunter poured blood over Jacob's face. That I still don't get, but you know. Ryan heard a rustling in the bushes but didn't shoot. We could have shot Nick and Jacob, like really early on. Jacob was captured by the hunters. Yeah, well, we know how that ended up. Ryan decided to sever Dylan's hand. Ryan used the chainsaw. Yeah, because the other option was the shotgun. What was the shotgun going to do? It was going to put a billion pieces into his arm, not separate the arm. The infection still would have spread, but he still would have been suffering. Just chop the hand off. Dylan's infection stopped spreading. Yeah, see? Laura did not shoot Travis when escaping her. Why is it called the white whale? Whatever. Ryan shot Chris Hackett with silver, curing his line of infection. Ryan survived the ordeal at the Hackett house. Laura, Travis, and Ryan decided to work together to find Silas. They run him down after he attacked the car, and Laura killed Silas, ending his line of infection and curing every living person who was bitten at Hackett's Quarry. Team building. This is my favorite duo right here. I mean, Keelan and Dylan were great. Ryan and Laura were so-so. I mainly, like, some of their banter was alright. It was mostly just Laura shitting on Ryan. But it was pretty funny. Dylan and Caitlin went to the scrapyard to find a working vehicle. Dylan and Caitlin worked together to escape the scrapyard. I just reversed those names because I can't read. Abigail and Emma found silver shells in the storm shelter. Apparently I can't speak either. Emma and Abigail found their way into the lodge. Caitlin has Dylan's company in the lodge. Okay. Caitlin decided to investigate the office door. Caitlin killed Caleb with the silver shell. I feel like that was pretty important. Love's labors lost. Ryan decided to free Jacob from the basement. Ryan could not figure out the cage door. Yeah, that's on me. I had no idea what was going on. I think I have an idea now because I just watched that video back. But yeah, I had no idea what was going on at the time. Laura and Ryan heard more of Travis and Constance's conversation. Jacob remained in the basement. All the cage doors opened when Laura broke the fuse box. And guess what? Jacob got fucked up by the werewolf. A pound of flesh. Ryan chose not to remove the knife from his stab wound. Ryan had to be careful not to exacerbate his injury as he fled from Bobby. Ryan removed the knife from his wound and stabbed Bobby. Ryan chose to accept Laura's offer to bite him. That's right, because she was infected as well. Bobby was weakened and unable to defend himself against Chris. Ryan was saved from blood loss because he accepted the bite. Okay. I feel like that's a little out of order. But, you know, whatever. And that's that. What clues did we get? We got the Harem Scarum poster. This is a poster for a traveling sideshow. It looks like it's been here a while, left forgotten in the woods. Are those burn marks around the edges? Whatever these posters are doing in Chris Hackett's possession, he must have forgotten to take this one down. Escapology trunk. A trunk filled with strange devices, that of an escapologist, perhaps. A relic of a traveling show that must have passed through the area. Broken cage. Oh, I didn't read all of this one. This decrepit cage has been engulfed by the woods over time. It looks like an animal has nested here. Silas the wolf boy. He never left the woods, spending his days and nights living feral, nesting in his old cage and evading the wraths of the Hacketts. That he did. Newspaper headline scrap. Okay, we missed one, but we got the third one. A scrap from the local newspaper, the North Kill Gazette, which, great name. It doesn't look recent. Something about a fire. Was it here at Hackett's Quarry? Kaylee and Caleb started the fire, meant as a distraction to free Silas the wolf boy, whom they pitied. That's how all this started. Damn kids. Damaged memorabilia. These flyers are promoting a traveling show called Harem Scarum. The dates listed indicates that it took place over 6 years ago. These are the same as the poster in the woods. Why does Chris Hackett have them? Was he connected to Harem Scarum in some way? The night of the fire is when Chris was bitten. This is where it all began for him. North Kill Gazette. A recent newspaper article about 2 hikers who went missing in these woods. As of the date of publication, they haven't been found. I missed a lot of stuff. I missed one of the freak show fire evidences or clues. I missed some of the extras for the rest of them. Charred sheriff's badge. This old sheriff's badge is badly fire damaged. Does it belong to the current sheriff or one of his predecessors? The previous sheriff was killed in the fire 6 years ago, so presumably this belonged to him. Travis must have succeeded him. Travis has used his power as sheriff to help his family cover their tracks ever since the fire 6 years ago. Discarded signage. The torn and broken remains of an old sideshow attractions. The way they're intertwined with the rest of the scrap shows they've been sitting here for a while. The Hacketts thought they'd gathered all of the remains of the burned sideshow Harem Scarum and disposed of it at the scrapyard. Family photo. A younger-looking camp leader, Chris Hackett, with his 2 kids, Caleb and Kaylee. They look happy. Kaylee's dead. However happy they once were, that's all changed now. Yeah, well, Kaylee got fucked up by Laura in the swimming pool. Caleb infected both his father and his sister 6 years ago, sometime after this photo was taken. And now he's the only one left alive. Not no more. Now they're all dead. Ranger box. A box in the woods, unlocked. Inside is a change of clothes, bottled water, and supplies. Provisions for a ranger, perhaps? Do these woods even have a ranger? The Hacketts leave supplies for when their infected family members turn back at dawn after a full moon. And nothing. Box of matches. A box of matches from the Harbinger Motel. A few matchsticks have been snapped off and there are marks on the striking surface. Laura used these matches to light a campfire and wait until nightfall to hunt Chris. This explains the light that Caitlin saw on the island. Okay. Triggered bear trap. This bear trap definitely wasn't there over summer. At least it can't hurt anyone now. If this was meant for the creature that attacked the radio hut, it may not have been very effective. That thing was fast. Scrawled limerick. This doesn't paint a particularly favorable picture of Sheriff Hackett. Perhaps this isn't the first time he's locked someone up illegally. Damn, there's a lot of clues, dude. Old quarry tools. These rusty old tools are left over from the Hackett's industrial heyday before the mine's foreclosure. Miner's lunchbox. The forgotten belongings of a quarry miner abandoned in the tunnels. A letter of foreclosure within indicates that this has been down here since the 1930s. Septimus Hackett was running the show when the Hackett's fortunes started to crumble. Imagine having the name Septimus. That'd be awful. He was responsible for closing down the quarry all those years ago after falling on hard times. The rum still. An antiquated rum still, likely from the Prohibition days. A relic of the Hackett family's past. Scrapyard note. This scrawled request to keep something off the books is a little dodgy to say the least. There must be something here they don't want anyone to know about. The note is referring to Max's car. Travis wanted to keep it off the books in case anyone came looking for them. Hunting trophy wall. This whole room was just weird. The spoils of the Hackett's hunting prowess. You'd think they'd want to cover up the bullet wounds and signs of injury. Perhaps they serve as a reminder that these animals are definitely dead. The Hacketts killed these animals with silver after they survived werewolf bites and became infected. There's no telling what this infection would do to non-humans, but it seems that the Hacketts didn't want to find out. The Hackett family tree. The Hackett family had been around for quite some time, their roots running deep in the local area. Chalkboard doodle. Aw, not the chalkboard doodle, man. A memorial to the deceased camp mascot, Ian. Rest in peace, Ian. From the looks of the drawing, Ian was a sheep, though nobody got to meet him this year. The campers never knew how Chris killed and ate the camp mascot. In fact, they don't know a lot about camp leader Chris Hackett. Inscribed jewelry. Discarded jewelry thrown off in a scuffle. The inscription reveals that it belonged to Bobby Hackett. I really can't speak right now. Ancestral portrait. Large and overbearing, this regal oil painting of Septimus Hackett holds pride of place on the lodge's chimney column. Oh, there's so much stuff, dude. Alright, bloodied collar. This bloodied collar looks to be too big for a dog. What kind of dog would be called Ian anyway? I mean, there's nothing wrong with a dog being called Ian. Ian was a sheep, the camp mascot. Something slaughtered him down in the storm shelter. Chris Hackett killed the camp mascot on the night Laura and Max were kidnapped. When hiding in the storm shelter, he devoured Ian in an attempt to satiate his appetite. It didn't work. Camp song recording. A recording of the Hackett's Quarry camp song from years gone by. Technology may have moved on, but the song remains unchanged. Information signpost. Though this is a novelty signpost, it also acts as a chilling reminder that Hackett's Quarry really is a long way from anywhere. Lodge renovation plans. Blueprints for structural repairs on the lodge's chimney column. Judging by the scrawled annotations, this is not something Chris Hackett has the money to action right now. The fact that Chris Hackett is asking campers' parents for donations means that these repairs may be more crucial than they first thought. They really should have got that fixed. Yeah, they really should have. Counselor's ledger. A list of the counselors' names, personal details, and their tasks at camp. 2 names are crossed out. Laura Kearney and Max Brinley. Why didn't they show up? Oh, you know, they got attacked. Laura and Max were kidnapped by Travis, and Chris tried to hide it by not reporting that they didn't show up for camp. Letter to the camp nurse. Chris Hackett has written a note to the camp nurse suggesting she take off a day early. Surely that's a little irresponsible when kids are still around. It makes total sense. Knowing he was on a time limit, Chris didn't want to risk the nurse being around when he turned into a werewolf. Kid's letter home? The camper that wrote this must have had a change of heart and decided not to send this letter home. Ghost stories are only stories, after all. Not true. This letter matches the drawing in the pool house, but why was it torn up? Maybe there is something to this ghost story, after all. The ghost stories were true. The ghost of Eliza, the hag of Hackett's Quarry, has wandered these woods for 6 years looking for her lost baby boy. The spooky drawing. Among the miscellanea of these forgotten belongings is a scribbled drawing of a woman in the woods. These ghost stories seem to have really left a mark. This drawing matches the letter found at the fire pit. Kids have the scariest imaginations. I mean, is it really an imagination if it's real? A recent piece of camp history, a younger Ryan enjoying his time at camp with Chris Hackett's kids, Caleb and Kaylee. So he's obviously close to them. That's why he was so upset over Kaylee's death. Camp letter. Chris Hackett is asking campers' parents for additional donations to help with lodge renovation costs. Isn't that what camp fees are for? Where else would that money be going? Maybe the camp is in worse shape than the fees can cover. Alright, evidence. Let's see. Empty vial. An empty vial with an unpleasant odor. We got some torn bags, torn hiking bags dashed with flecks of dried blood. But we found out we're from some hikers that disappeared. Attack photo, a blurry close-up photo of Emma being attacked at the treehouse. Large jagged claw marks on the wall of the radio hut. The memory card from a broken and dirty camera lost in the woods. Also from the hikers, I think. A lump of what appears to be damaged or scarred flesh. That shit was disgusting. Kaylee Hackett's letter of confession addressed to her grandmother. Archived trail cam footage from the Hackett's Woods dating back 6 years. Alright, what else we got? No, we don't need that. Tarot cards. I miss a lot of tarot cards, guys. I miss a lot of them. Alright, I'll read that and then we'll get on with Who Lived and Who Died. The star. Oh, it's the star. Stars in the night sky, beacons of light, dreams of hope, purpose, or a reminder of our insignificance, fear of despair. Trust in the light of the star. With it comes clarity and sometimes proof. Strength. Strength can be surprising. Knowing one's own raw power, tapping into previously unknown energy. I suppose there are forces at work within us all. And with one hand it gives, and with the other it could rip away. The Hermit. Here we have the Hermit, but with the Hermit comes isolation, loneliness, but reflection too. Perhaps given some thought, the hermit who gives chase can guide you to safety. That all depends on your actions, not his. Justice. An eye for an eye, not exactly in some cases, but cause and effect, actions and consequences. There's a balance to everything, and we all play a part in making sure the scales aren't tipped. The moon, how poignant. The night of all nights, to harness your fear and anxiety and turn them into intuition. If you can do this and plan ahead, your cunning might just save your life. The Chariot. At the reins of a chariot, we would all feel safer, taking control, relying on determination to make our choices. Valiant, but in some cases, foolish. Many seek refuge in chariots, but perhaps in some cases they're not as safe as we think they are. The Empress. Look at her. Look at the... Oh my goodness. I messed up again. Look at her. Those at the top can fall the hardest. Such a shame to nurture little monsters only to live long enough to watch them kill you. But it's no less than she deserves. The Lovers. There's harmony in disagreement, brought to light only by sparks of passion. Blood flows from the heart. You can almost taste it, and tasting it could save someone's life. Wheel of Fortune. After all, fortune is nothing but a spinning wheel. Sometimes you have to take a chance. Karma works in mysterious ways, but it favors those who pay attention. Watch closely. Though the wheel spins, the eagle-eyed can tell where it's going to stop. The Emperor. Authority, paternity, structures designed to topple, no? How the mighty may fall and their empires with them. Let them bleed, let them rip each other apart, let them rot. I still think that's my favorite description out of any of the cards. The Sun. The vitality of a new day. There's still time to wake up to the warmth of a night survived. Your choices, your actions, your very life hangs in the balance. It's up to you to find your path in the darkness and see the sunrise once again. Judgment. The bells of judgment cry bloody murder. Or do they? The fury of a hatred earned, a fate deserved. Likely, but he may have his uses. Though he won't forgive, he won't forget. The Hierophant. Now this card. This bitch was pissed over this card. My poor boy, do you see what they did to us? How they hurt us? He's out there still, all alone. Each full moon they hunt him, armed with silver, trying to put an end to a curse they inflicted upon themselves when they set my show ablaze 6 years ago. Stupid children. But little Silas, my little white wolf, he must be protected. You must not follow this path. Do you understand? Remember how I've helped you all this time. Yeah, that card revealed a lot. And she was not happy with me finding it. The High Priestess. Eliza was killed in the fire that broke out at her traveling show 6 years ago. Her ghost roams the woods of Hackett's Quarry ever since, and she's been determined to get revenge on the Hackett family for what they did to her. Her tarot cards, once lost in the blaze, have allowed her to guide you through the night, though her motives may not have been as transparent as first thought. Alright, that is the last of the tarot cards. I think I have to restart the chapter to get to who lived and who died. So let me go do that, and I'm gonna record that, and then I'll be back. Now I have started a new playthrough since ending my last one, so they are gonna be in different outfits in case that confuses anybody. Bobby Hackett, deceased. Bobby was mauled to death by his werewolf brother. Yikes. Chris Hackett, deceased. Chris was killed when his favorite counselor Ryan shot him with silver. You hate to see it. Constance Hackett, deceased. Laura shot Constance's face off in a struggle for the gun. Okay, but that was an amazing death. Okay, that was the best death of the game for me. Jedediah Hackett, deceased. We really did just kill every Hackett except for Travis. Jedediah was choked to death by a vengeful Laura. Jacob Custos, deceased. Jacob was killed by werewolf Nick after Ryan eventually abandoned him in the Hackett's basement. Okay, well, Ryan didn't abandon him on purpose. We could not figure out the breakers. We had to leave him. We were going to come back for him. We just didn't have time. How are we supposed to know Laura was going to break the fuse box? Kaylee Hackett, deceased. The first Hackett dead. Chris Hackett's daughter Kaylee was shot and killed by Laura, who mistook her for werewolf Chris. Yep, she was the first one gone. Nick Fricillo, alive. Nick survived the night. When Laura killed Silas, Nick's werewolf curse was lifted. Max Brindley, deceased. Max swam back to the mainland where a hungry Caleb was waiting for him. I really did not expect Caleb to be waiting for Max at the pier. Like, what luck is that? Abigail Blag, alive. Abby made it to the safety of Chris Hackett's surveillance room. Thank God for that trapdoor, right? Emma Mountebank, alive. Emma survived the night in the safety of Chris Hackett's surveillance room. I like that shirt on him. Dylan Lenevy, alive. Dylan survived the night by taking refuge from Caleb in the kitchen. He also lost a hand, so I think he's going to be the most fucked up out of everybody. Caitlin Ka, alive. Caitlin survived the night by killing Caleb, curing all those infected by his lineage. Caitlin's just the most badass out of the main group. Caleb Hackett, deceased. Caleb kind of looks like a younger Jacob. Caitlin shot Caleb dead using the silver shells passed to her by Emma and Abigail. Travis Hackett, alive. He's the only one. Travis survived the encounter with Silas and finally saw an end to the curse that had haunted his family for 6 years. Yeah, but what's he gonna do now? His entire family is dead. What is he gonna do now? Ryan Erzaler, alive. Ryan was cured of the werewolf infection when he shot Chris and managed to survive the showdown with the White Wolf. Lara Kearney, alive. Lara killed Silas with a silver shell, curing every infected person who survived that night. Yes, she did. Lara's the MVP of the whole game. Silas Voorhees, dead. Lara killed Silas the dog boy in his nest. The curse of Hackett's Quarry is broken. How did Silas become a werewolf? Was he just born that way? I guess so. The world will never know. Alright guys, that does it for the Quarry. I appreciate all those who watched, liked, commented. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. All my love, and I will see you guys next time for whatever game that may be. Later.